A widespread contagious disease has spread all over the world. This disease is caused by a virus, and this disease is known as coronavirus disease 2019, also known as COVID-19. COVID-19 is generally caused by a virus named severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, or simply SARS-CoV-2, which affects lungs and throat. Inflammation causes the lungs to be filled with fluids, causing pneumonia, and this pneumonia creates breathing problems in the affected persons. Now let's just check out some of the symptoms of COVID-19. It may cause sore throat, loss of smell, abdominal pain, muscle pain, cough, shortness of breath, and even fever. So, what happens to your immune system and your body when SARS-CoV-2 enters in you? Is COVID-19 airborne? Are you immune to these diseases? And how vulnerable are you to COVID-19? And when will be the vaccines available to you? So let's find out. Coronavirus is an RNA virus that is basically found in bats. But in this case, whether it is from bats or not, it is still unsure. The first case of COVID-19 is reported to be from China, and this virus spread from an animal and live seafood market in Wuhan province of China. And from China, this outbreak has spread all over the world, so it has undergone multiple mutations. The sequencing has been done in United States, Italy, China, and India. And the sequencing shows that genotypes are different. Now, let's just look at how this virus enters our body. So, the virus SARS-CoV-2 has structures that look like spikes and are made of proteins. So if this virus is stronger than our antibodies, it will attack our cells inside our body and causes infection in lungs. So when an infected person sneezes, its droplets falls on the hands of others, and if a contracted person without washing his hands touches his eyes, his nose and mouth, that person get infected by the virus. Once this virus is inside the cell, it creates multiple viruses inside your body. These multiple viruses causes inflammation of your lungs. So once the virus is inside your body, how does the antibodies and the cells react to the virus? So in this figure, you see a blue colored wire-like structure. So these are the antibodies which are produced by our immune system, and that fights against the viruses, the bacteria and other parasites. And the red color structure you see, these are called the pathogens. So these are the disease causing viruses and bacteria and different other organisms. As you can see in the figure number 2, that all the antibodies are attaching itself to the pathogens, right? So they can attach itself by 3 different formations. Okay. And in the third figure, you see yellow color structure. So it is called a phagocyte. Phagocytes are generally a cell which has the ability to consume bacteria, virus, and any other organisms, right? So this process of engulfing the viruses is called the phagocytosis. So basically, the phagocyte ingests both the antibodies and the pathogens. So whether a phagocyte can engulf a pathogen or not, it depends on your immune system. So the question arises whether you have a good immune system or a bad one. So let's check out 6 signs of a weakened immune system. Okay. So the first sign of an weakened immune system is your stress level. If your stress level is very high, you are likely to have a weakened immune system. Second sign is you often suffer from cold with running nose. Okay. And third one is you have a lots of tummy pain. The fourth sign is that when you have wounds, it takes a lot of time to heal. The fifth one is you have frequent infections like maybe viral or maybe bacterial infections. Lastly, you feel tired most of the time. So now let's just see what happens if you have a weak immune system. Okay. So it happens that when you breathe in and out, the air moves freely inside your lungs. So it enters through the bigger pipes that we call it as trachea, and the smaller pipes are known as bronchi. Alright. So once this enters into the bronchi, they pass through the smaller pipes that are known as bronchioles, and finally it reaches the end of your windpipes, and that part is called as alveoli. So alveoli is a small sac which is mostly responsible for taking oxygen in and carbon dioxide out of your body. So once your lungs are infected by the virus, it causes the alveoli to be filled with fluids. And that is the first sign of viral infection. Thereafter, the oxygen flow in your body is obstructed, and an infected person is unable to breathe because their lungs are filled with fluids. It's inflammation caused by the virus. So if a person has weak immune system, in severe cases, infected person is required to put under ventilation. But the likelihood of getting infected and your organs being severely damaged depends upon multiple factors like your age, your medical history, your immune system, and also some pre-existing medical conditions. Let's just look at what we have in order to protect ourselves from COVID-19. A vaccine is what we have in order to protect ourselves from this infectious disease. So, how long does it take to make a vaccine? Does it take a month or years to make a vaccine? There are different approaches in order to make vaccines. The idea of vaccine is to inject a person with a weak version of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. This will allow our immune system to develop antibodies. These antibodies attach itself to the virus and prevents it from attaching to your cells. Finally, the virus is being consumed and destroyed by our immune system. So in future, if you are affected by the coronavirus 19, your body will automatically identify the virus and will be destroyed by your immune system. There are also reports that hospitals in New York City are gearing up to use the bloods of people who have recovered from COVID-19 as a possible antidote for the disease. This approach is still under research and needs more observation. This may take up to 6 months or even a year. There are also some news about the COVID-19 to be airborne. Is it true? Let's check it out. So as a matter of fact, the respiratory infections can be transmitted through droplets of different sizes. So if the droplet size are between 5 to 10 micrometer, it is known as the respiratory droplets, and if it is less than 5 micrometer, it is known as the droplet nuclei. But the airborne transmission is completely different from the droplet transmission. So what happens in airborne transmission is that if a microbe's size is less than 5 micrometer, then these microbes can be carried and it can be contracted to other persons through air. So generally these microbes will stay in air for a longer duration of time and can be transmitted over a distance greater than 1 meter. And in an article published in New England Journal of Medicine, it was evaluated that the virus can live up to 3 hours in an experimentally induced aerosol generating procedure. But that experiment does not reflect any clinical setting like ICU and ventilation rooms. In a statement by the World Health Organization, they said that the presence of RNA in the environmental samples is not indicative of any viable viruses that could be transmissible. So the COVID-19 airborne transmission is still under investigation. So at the end, the things to keep in mind is to wash your hands before touching your mouth, face, eyes, nose, and even before feeding or touching someone. And regularly sanitize your hands and keep your surrounding clean and keep at least a distance of 1 meter in the current situation. Also maintain social distancing. And finally, if you have any kind of symptoms like headache, cough, so you need to reach the nearest designated health camps. So stay home, stay safe.